I'll have to reposition myself and see where it is. But okay, so let's get back to what we were talking about. This idea of live streaming and also talking about the topics. So, starting to talk 10 minutes when you don't have anything to talk about, it's going to feel hard. And naturally, right? Speaking in front of an audience, especially at the end of the day when maybe your brain isn't as active and you just need that conversation, it's uncomfortable. It's not something that we default to easily or that we just get. But there are the benefits of simply talking. And specifically when you can be accurate and you've got a topic to focus in on. So see it this way. The moment that you have a focus, that you start the conversation, and the odd thing about all this is you're talking to yourself. Really, in the beginning, who is listening to what you have to say? Is anybody? Is anybody listening? It begins to doubt. But understand that there's a difference. So this is a documenting process where it's one day versus day one, right? And I realized that, I wonder if it's my internet. There's this kind of delayed response happening. It's all good. It's part of the experience. Okay, so let's work with me here. Let me make myself a bit smaller. So it's, I don't think I can actually... This is kind of interesting, right? We're positioning. So what are we talking about today? Let's talk about topics. So what I'd like to do with you next is actually take a minute and start to identify the key topic areas that I'm going to be focusing in on. And I say topic really to explain what it is that I'll be live streaming. So I'm talking about productivity. So I'm going to have different categories that I've been thinking about. Learning, biz, and marketing. I'm also going to be talking about lifestyle design. Let me fix this typos. And I think there was a fifth category here, which was just design in general. I do have a background in these topics. Cool. So, what is the outcome? And you're going to hear me talk about this all the time. I'm looking to teach and share valuable resources. Move this forward, idea consumer into action taker. There's this fun discovery in seeing what it is you're thinking about. So often in our days and in the way we interact with others, we're just constantly recording. And what by that I mean is we're taking in input. More and more and more and more. And while that's okay, I can remember the first time I stopped reading. It actually happened about a year or so ago in January of 2020. Yes, right? The year that we all trying to forget. You won't see it here, but in my room I have over 1,000 books. At some point or another, I just started collecting. I thought, you know what? I want to learn, I want to grow, I want to continue to input. So that's exactly what I did. Different people have different interests and different collections. For me, it was capturing books. But now, the moment that you're able to actually start doing something with the books you're listening to, the information that you're creating, that's the first step. And how this all unfolds or what it looks like, who knows? But understand that it does start with having one person, 5, 10, 100. It all starts there. So the idea is to position and get out of the comfort zone and start to create. So that's in the form of taking the ideas from their intangible states and they're confused to the actual production and delivery of these. All right, so Hey, welcome. I'm just recapping. I was able to set up this live streaming of my desktop. And what's cool is some of these ideas and the creation, especially building with Notion, that's where it starts here. So, kind of for future streams, one way of thinking about this is these are simply conversations to have one to many. And in part, it's being able to see how can I move again from idea to and concept to an actual implementation of it. So I shared this earlier, and now it's the refining and end of day capture. And that's what are the 5 topics that I want to talk about. But let me flesh these out a bit. So within productivity, there's the topic of getting organized. The time management aspect of all the books and the information that kind of connects to that. Journaling. What good is journaling if we don't do anything with it? And then under the learning, I use the word input, and it's connected to this thought of constant and never-ending improvement. The story of books that I just told a while back, that's what this would be. Note-taking. So after we read all these books, we have all this information, what's next? How do we engage with it, interact? Look, I'm floating. So note-taking, talking about Notion, talking about research, the constant, it's almost the end of the day here. All the information you looked at today, is it going anywhere? Is there a point or a time that you can do something with it? That's what I like to talk about with this. Books, of course. What are you reading? What are you hearing? What are other people recommending? And then there's the languages. Why not? So this is more of a kind of future-paced, try and learn every single language so you could talk with people. Cool. Business and marketing, what is that? So we're talking about funnels. Funnels are the process that you take a complete stranger or a person that is following, learning from you, and you guide them through this technology or the step-by-step system where they can go from, I don't know who you are, to I'm a fan and I want to buy everything you do. Amongst other things, right? Or just listen to you, which works too. So we have digital products. All right, let me pull this up. But yeah, this is cool. It's I think I've been talking about this a lot. It's one thing to write, but another is just to share what you're expressing. Because there's this filtering that's happening when you write that's not possible when speaking. Oh. Digital products. Then we have websites. Everything from specifically WordPress, how to design, how to write copy, writing for your site. That's what we're talking about there. So with lifestyle design, what is that looking like? We're talking here about kind of the visions, goals. I don't like how Notion does that. Outcomes, tiny habits, which are I'm on day 1, by the way, of these tiny habits program. And then other things. I think we were talking about tiny homes. So that's been an interest as of late. Looking forward to learning more about that. Oh yeah, do CrossFit. And kind of the kilo exercise stuff. Exercise stuff. So design, we're looking here at UX. We're talking about color, psychology, branding, etc. But again, all this is a lot of information. It's just once you start taking the ideas from your head and position them in a thought, now all of a sudden I could take the same information and start to create a schedule of sorts. So if I'm going to talk every day for 10 minutes, 10 minutes, it's already like at 15. You start to generate more ideas. So I'll summarize and I'll finish this quick little stream with this thought. University of Florida, if I'm not mistaken, there were 2 groups of people. One class, one assignment, the class was on photography. So the professor goes to the class and says, I'm going to split the class in half. Right is going to do one thing, left is going to do another thing. What am I talking about? The right part of the class was given the assignment. By the end of the semester, you will turn in one picture. One. Left side, which you can't really see me, but the left side of the class, they were to do 100 pictures. It didn't matter what they looked like. All they were going to be graded was on the quantity of pictures. Quality, the one picture, quantity with 100. So by the end of the semester, which group do you think did better? And better is a subjective word. It can mean so many things, right? Well, it turns out that the group on the right that only had the one picture and that was it, allowed their perfectionism and their lack of action to actually take over. So immediately what they did is they formed study circles. They were talking about everything that they could do and the best, the highest, the most superlative, everything perfect, right? Turns out that many of them didn't actually turn in anything because they gave themselves that big kind of aspect, or that big, how would I put it? They allowed the perfectionism to take over. So they were stuck in their tracks. Whereas the group on the left, who wasn't graded on quality, actually ended up producing a better amount, simply because of the sheer amount of production. I guess that's how I'm seeing. I tell that story pointing to think about that with this streaming thing. 100 videos from now will probably be a lot better. Well, will do. Yeah, it'll be succinct, it'll be on point, it'll be on message. But it's getting that quality in later and allowing that to dictate what it's going to look like and how it's going to form in the end. For now, it's let's just do it. Just start the quantity, start the speaking, start the communicating in such a way that it starts to ripple into other areas of life. And so this is a way of documenting as well, capturing, taking messages and snippets from this and repurposing that into all these different mediums. But it starts now. Because now all of a sudden, if you have 10, 15 minutes of content every day, transcribe that, which I'm doing right now. I'm recording. I'm taking this piece core of information, and you've got these different bits and pieces that you can start showing up everywhere. So anyway, thanks for tuning in. Awesome. I'm going to stop it. Yes, done. It's better than perfection. In progress is never done. What was that other thing? Ready, shoot, aim. So it's like aim first, shoot. But yeah, it's such a simple concept, isn't it? And yet, easy not to do as well. Who knows, at the end of the quarantine, who will we be? And how did we use the time we were here? So that's one of the questions that I'm always thinking about when it comes to outcome. But thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it. All right, so when I do this, I'm going to go to Yellow Duck and say save and finish. And let's see. Yes, I want to finish. I need to think about a happy dance. Like a happy finished. Do, 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 do.